I'm about to bust. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was the bathroom. Oh, good Lord.
2022 has been a good year for film, to be honest. So good, in fact, I thought about doing a top 15 list because there were so many heavy hitters battling out for rankings on this list. So I had to settle on just 10. Just know this was probably the hardest list I've ever done doing these videos. I've done two best movies of the years lists in 2020 and 2021. This is probably the hardest one I've done out of all of them because there's so many contenders, but I had to limit it down to 10. Warning, the honorable mentions is gonna have a lot of movies. So if you disagree with anything on this list, send all of your comments to Miss Flamingo. I'm Mac from Mac Movie Reviews, and these are my top 10 best films of 2022. Let's get right into it.
Hey, that's pretty good.
A last minute addition to the list. I say Violent Night is one of my surprise hits of 2022. When I saw the trailer, I figured it would be interesting to watch. So I watched it, and I thought it was going to be okay. But I was both surprised and entertained by Violent Night. It doesn't try to reinvent the wheel or anything. It knows what it is and sticks with it. David Harbour as Santa was funny and entertaining as all hell. I even enjoyed John Leguizamo as the villain. I found him entertaining. And what can I say about the action other than it was awesome? The way they incorporate the Christmas setting as weaponry needs to be studied from time on when you're going to do a Christmas action movie. Violent Night can quickly turn into a fun night of viewing if you want to pop it on during the holiday season. So can't wait for a sequel if they ever decide to do it.
Hey, that's pretty good.
2022 was what I consider the renaissance of Channing Tatum. Being a cameo in a movie that'll show up later in this list, to standing out with Sandra Bullock in The Lost City, to my favorite role he did this year, being Dog. Dog was a movie I had no expectations for at all, but when I saw it, I was blown away and had a whirlwind of emotions while watching it. Tatum puts in a performance that reminded me that he has good range as an actor, i.e. watch Foxcatcher, please. He had moments in the film where he showed genuine emotion and it was tremendous. The story was also investing too. It was a simple road trip movie, but it still managed to be both heartwarming and fun at the same time. And the dog was awesome too and goes through a character arc, and that's unique when it comes to a buddy animal film like this. And the fact that Channing Tatum directed this, that blew my mind even more. I forgot that he directs them. This is his directorial debut, so I hope he does more movies like this. I'm really excited to see what he has next. And being Magic Mike 3, maybe we are in the Channing Tatum renaissance.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Whoa! This guy's crazy!
You're part of this too. How am I part of it? You'll see.
The movie that at first everyone thought would suck ended up being one of the best Batman films since probably The Dark Knight. It was so hard to place this film. Originally, this was number 1, but 7 other movies got me more for the rest of the year. So 8 was the best I can do because it was either 8, 1, or honorable mentions. And let me tell you, this movie is not worth honorable mention. It has to be in the list. The Batman is a film that isn't the traditional comic book movie. It uses elements from the source material to create a new narrative in the style of it. This is what Matt Reeves does with the Batman. He makes a compelling noir detective story that uses Batman's moniker as the world's greatest detective, and we follow that. The performances were great as well. Robert Pattinson proves everyone wrong by turning in a tremendous performance as a young rookie Batman, still trying to find himself and his symbol. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman was great too, and Paul Dano as the Riddler has to be one of the best Batman villain portrayals of all time. The action, cinematography, score, and visuals all knock it out of the park as well. The main thing that I feel hurts the Batman, and the reason why I put it at number 8, is gotta be the runtime. Clocking in at 2 hours and 56 minutes, it does its best to use that runtime to its fullest potential, try to cram as much narrative into the story as much as possible. But there was some excess fat that could have been trimmed. It would have been better at like 2 hours and a half, like 2.5 hours, like 2 minutes to 30. Like, I'll even say like 2 hours and 40 minutes or like that. But still, I'm satisfied with this Batman. Can't wait to see what we get more from Reeves' Batverse.
Hey, that's pretty good.
The trailer for Scream 2022 didn't look good to me. It gave me Child's Play 2019 vibes, and I went in cautiously. But after going to see it in opening weekend, I will say I was thoroughly entertained and satisfied with it. Scream 5 is both a good continuation of a franchise that needed a desperate shot in the arm, but managed to be a respectful tribute and homage to the original 4 films. The cast did a great job with their performances. I found their characters to be in the perfect addition and fit the right archetypes in a modern day Scream film, like Wes Craven would have done it. And considering the old cast is back and meshes well with the new cast, it felt like a true legacy sequel. The humor in the film was great. It managed to incorporate both witty dialogue and funny meta humor that only works in a Scream film. And lastly, the kills were fantastic. I think there's an argument that Scream 5 has some of the most creative kills since probably the second movie. The way they kill the characters in this film managed to be both funny and creative at the same time. Although Neve Campbell isn't coming back for Scream 6, I'm still excited to see what they have in store to put Ghostface in the Big Apple.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Sure you want to talk this out?
Not particularly, no.
Okay.
You want to talk about one of the bigger surprises of the year? Bullet Train, I'd say, takes the top spot. This was one of the films that was on my anticipated films list for the second half of 2022 video, and I'll say it delivered. One of the elements that worked the best in this film for me is the humor. It doesn't take itself too serious, and the dialogue helped with a lot of the delivery of the jokes. It had a good blend of physical and dialectic humor, and that helps when the cast did a great job with their roles as well. Brad Pitt was hilarious as Ladybug and provided a fantastic sort of straight man to the situations that he was reacting to on the train, and I made it very funny. And the story was fun too. Sure, it had its pacing issues, but still managed to be entertaining. Never a dull moment in its runtime. I love Bullet Train.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah, nah.
Yes, I enjoyed Nope. On a lot of people's lists, they had it as low as 8 or 9, or even on disappointing lists. But you know, it wasn't that bad to me. I'd even go as far as saying this is my second or maybe even favorite Jordan Peele film. The fact that we have an extraterrestrial horror film in a smart way makes me so happy. And while the story, acting, and themes are all done greatly and lend to a great viewing experience, the two elements that are Nope's biggest strengths would be the sound design and cinematography. These two elements come together to make a truly memorable viewing experience. The sound design does a great job of not only immersing you in the film's universe, but it does a great job of tricking you. There are moments in the film where the sound is deliberately thrown at a distance or simply gets shut off. This can have the viewer in the same frame of mind as the characters, observant and cautious. And the excellence of the cinematography cannot be understated. Some of the shots captured in this film are like wallpaper poster worthy, especially shots of the ship during the nighttime scenes that are just phenomenal. The last shot of the film of the alien was magnificent, the one that Kiki took in the well. My only regret is that I didn't see Nope in IMAX. Shit!
Hey, that's pretty good.
I'm Nick. Fucking. Whoa, Cage!
The Nicolas Cage renaissance can truly begin. Before Unbearable Weight, Nicky C was enjoying a severely underrated run on the DVD circuit. With hits such as Pig, Mom and Dad, and Willy's Wonderland, he was truly ready to get back into the theater. And seeing him making a comeback, just playing an exaggerated version of himself, it's just the only way Nicolas Cage can make a comeback, and I absolutely love it. This is a comedy action film through and through, and it's entertaining as all hell. The chemistry and performances between Pedro Pascal and Nicolas Cage are the main driving part of this movie. They're the heart and soul. Their relationship, you fall in love with them because they're so cute together. They're like best friends at this point, and that's what it makes it perfect with that. But the biggest reason I'm clocking Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent at a number 4 would be the humor. The humor in the film is simply Nicolas Cage style over-the-top wackiness that works for this style of acting. And there are some jokes that are good meta commentaries for people who are film buffs like myself. So as a cinephile, I kind of appreciate some of the film humor that he threw in there because, you know, Nicolas Cage is a Coppola. So those Coppolas are in the Hollywood royalty.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Yes. I'm putting Top Gun Maverick number 3 on my best list. I await the shit show that will be in the comment section. But if I made a best summer movies of 2022, this would be number 1. Top Gun Maverick should be used as a blueprint on how to properly do a follow-up sequel to an existing film 30 years after the original film. This is a damn near perfect film. Great performances from the cast. Miles Teller has finished his redemption arc after the disaster that is Fan 4's stick. He was great in this film. Tom Cruise, as usual, kills it. The action scenes were jaw-droppingly good. The dogfight scenes were badass. The score kept the original sense of coolness, and the tone of the film was possibly the best aspect of it. It managed to blend heavy emotional moments with the lighthearted, fun, optimism, energy of the original film. Top Gun Maverick will have the distinction of being one of, if not the greatest sequel of all time, and possibly maybe a little bit better than the first Top Gun movie, which is really hard to top. It's already in that discussion, rightfully so, but you know, Top Gun Maverick, if this was another list, this would have been number 1, but for the top 10 list, I'm going to put it at number 3.
Hey, that's pretty good.
A movie that flew underneath the radar for the majority of 2022, The Northman is a great film that covers a subject not often covered in media, which being the Norse Viking era. Robert Eggers delivers possibly one of his best films with outstanding performances from Alexander Skarsgård and Anya Taylor-Joy, especially from Skarsgård, who could be in consideration and should be in consideration for award season, puts in the performance of his career. It's layered, raw, and gritty, just like the action scenes. My god, these action scenes are spectacular. While a lot of them are one take, they don't beat around the bush. They use that R rating to its fullest potential. It shows the raw battles in the Norse era, and it's so damn good. No punches pulled at all. Raw, gritty action, and I love it. And the story was good as well, too. The film tells a story of revenge, but it manages to have many depths and layers to it. It's not a simple tale of a good golden-hearted protagonist going up against the stereotypical black and white villain. Both sides are morally gray and makes the viewer question who's in the right and who's in the wrong. I found that to be a very nuanced version of a revenge tale. In any other universe, The Northman would be my number 1 film of the year, but alas, there's another. But before we get into my number 1, here are some honorable mentions. Movies that were good, but they just didn't crack the top 10. Turning Red, The Menu, The Lost City, Weird Al Story, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Avatar, The Way of Water, Minions, Rise of Gru, Triple R, Elvis, Glass Onion, Ambulance, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Jackass Forever, X, Pearl, Tar, and The Whale.
Hey, that's pretty good.
In 2022, A24 Studios was like Prime Shack, unstoppable. Not only did they deliver 2 great horror films in X and Pearl, they delivered a multiverse saga that did a better job than Doctor Strange 2. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is the best film of 2022 by far, in my opinion. It has everything going for it. Excellent performances with Michelle Yeoh, Ki Hon Kwan, Stephanie Hughes, and Jamie Lee Curtis. Everyone was just great. The story was captivating and kept me intrigued throughout. The humor stuck and got so many laughs from me. The Rock scene may go down as one of my all-time favorite movie scenes of all time. It was really funny to me. The visuals are jaw-droppingly good. Some of the scenes with international travel scenes were awesome just to look at from a visual perspective. And this film tackles some great themes of optimism, pessimism, contempt, fear, isolation, regret, love, loss, and most importantly, family. This film has so many layers, it's insane how thick it is. It's like an onion. I want more style of films like this, but I feel that this type of film only comes once in a generation, so I'm happy with Everything Everywhere All at Once being number 1 on this list. So let me know in the comments down below, what are some movies you agree that are on the list, and what are some movies that you think were your favorites of the year? Till then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.